Today, very specifically, like I wanted to be able to address every question you have on top of, I mean, I've seen everything that you've done from TikTok. There's a little bit of Group 7 on there. We were both on Flip before, so there's kind of a lot going on there. But I wanted to be able to answer any and all questions you may have because that was a very different platform, and I feel like we have a very different group of people from that platform.
Yes. Oh, I definitely want to talk about that. But first, let's introduce ourselves to our 5 to 100,000 listeners. You never know.
We have it on Spotify and Apple now. After you said that, I was like, I have to get it set up. So who knows? We might
Oh,
get more.
perfect.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Get 1% Better podcast with your host, Jay Reagan, and me, the guest, Millie Magic.
Today is going to be so much fun. And would you like to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, a little bit of background, what you do?
Yes. So this is going to be a difficult question to answer as usual, but I did watch a couple of your other podcasts and I noticed that you had said the same thing. I've jumped around to many different industries, but I would say in general I work in the entertainment industry.
Okay. Entertainment is huge, and there's a lot of opportunity in it.
There's a lot of different sections that you can jump into, a lot of different ways you can express yourself creatively in those industries. But more recently, I guess I want to get into the reason why I feel like I felt called to do this or to reach out.
Please.
Because I was talking to my brother and he asked about Flip and I was like, it's over. And it sucks because I felt like I really resonated with those people. And then I started talking about the types of friendships I wanted to attract into my life. And then I realized I was just like describing people on Flip. The types of personalities that I was seeing or the types of just the direction that people were going in, because I recently came to the conclusion that my new identity is entrepreneur, which I had that identity in my early 20s, but I just don't think I was emotionally mature or ready enough to embrace that. I used to call myself an artpreneur.
There you go. Add some new vocabulary.
So then I saw this vision of your podcast in my head and I was like, oh my gosh, let me just message Jay and see if he's doing that. Or
out of the 600 posts, you remembered that one. That is incredible, honestly.
Yeah, I did, because I think the point of social media is to actually get off of it. Is to ultimately make connections that you wouldn't be able to find in your general area and then actually connect with those people. At least that's how I'm trying to live now.
No, I would say that was the entire reason that social media was created in the first place. And to partially segue off of what you just said, introducing yourself, with Flip, the relationships that I want to have now are very different from when I was younger. And the relationships with people I've had on Flip, because I've been doing social media for about 13 years now. In the relationships with people that I had on Flip, when I sat there on Flip and said, this is my favorite platform to date, and I've worked with over 100 different platforms on the back-end data analysis and front-end content creation in front of the camera, Flip was by far my favorite. And the people on the platform I still talk to. By far, they are my favorite people that I've ever interacted with. I've got the genuine feel from it. We really got to know who and what we like and, who we are on that platform. And honestly, it was a really good platform, but the people were just better. The people, it was not a big platform, but it put all the good people in a very tight place. You know how people say the world like a small world?
Yes.
It was a small world, but it was a small world of really good people that I really enjoyed. And a lot of those people I now work with, I still talk to this day. I check up on them. I send them a message, and it's been a little bit eye-opening what social media is.
Yes, I mean that. So I guess to give you a little more of my background, my very first social media account was DeviantArt. I don't know if you've heard of that platform. I've been on DeviantArt, Cheesy Art, Visco, so many platforms since I was 13. Actually 11, because I lied about my age.
You have to. I did when I first started.
So when Flip came into my life, and I remember the exact moment, I was trying to start a Depop store, and I was thinking to myself, okay, this is going to be the first year where I take where I choose a direction, and I knew that I wanted to make a lot more money this year. And I remember thinking I'm going to make my first 100K this year. And then somehow Flip opened up on my phone. I don't know what happened. My fingers it just opened up. And then I saw like every single Sage video of her being like, this is real. You can make money.
Wow. Of course it
And
was Sage.
then, but what ended up happening was Flip reactivated or reignited this part of myself that I had lost over the last decade. And so seeing all these people evolving and getting better 1% every single day.
They really were. And it was beautiful to see.
It was so refreshing, and it was some of the most honest content I'd seen in years. And it was also really lovely to see the lows and the highs, because I think on TikTok a lot of people post the highs, Instagram the highs.
Yes.
And even to a degree myself, I would say I gave Flip about 30% of my personality. I was too burned out to give the full personality. But
I would say Flip honestly cooked a lot of people. A lot of people felt enslaved to the platform. And I'm not even going to lie, myself included. I personally have always had a little social media streak with what I do and what I post. And if I'm going to be completely honest, even with that being said, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of skeptical. Maybe this is true, maybe this isn't, but let me not test it. As well as, why would I stop posting? Why would I slow any momentum down when I don't need to? I would be walking around, driving around, shooting content. I would just shoot 20 pieces of content. I'd be like, okay, if I just shoot all this today, I can just upload at least one thing every day.
Exactly.
And not miss a day. It was like, relatively low effort content.
Yes. But that was, for me as a former people pleasing perfectionist, so necessary to just be okay with, all right, this isn't my best work, but it has to get out there. And what it did was help me redevelop this sense of trust and this sense of knowing and instinct that I have within myself in order to reawaken this energy. After Flip ended, I was the last wave of flippers, is what I like to say.
Yes. I came in late.
In May.
That's the exact time I joined February. When was the original TikTok, man? Actually, that's when it was. I believe it was February, because I uploaded a podcast about it, and I was like, guys, 48 hours. Just give it 48 hours, and it will be back.
I felt that it was going to be back. I deleted some stuff off of my accounts and saved it, but I just had this feeling there's no way.
No, TikTok is way too big. That was the beautiful thing about Flip, though, is that I think a lot of people really did have that feeling on Flip, and it gave us the option, and it gave us the ability to be creative, but be real, and have the choice of what to produce and how much time to put into it. Because if I'm going to be completely honest, when I first started on Flip, I started because they asked me to come over from TikTok, and they ran my ads and everything on TikTok. And there was like 3 gurus on Flip who were like, I made $7,000 in this many days. And I was like, okay, let me just document exactly what I'm doing. So like, I didn't want to be a guru. I didn't want to sell a Discord on how to grow on Flip. I didn't want to do any of that. And I was just like, here, guys, this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm doing it. This is how many hours a day I'm putting in. Here's my screen time. Here's a video of me recording the video that you're watching. And I just wanted to show people exactly what I'm doing in the most simple way ever, and then show them the results so that they have a real expectation. Not, if you do this, this, and this, but I have no proof of it, you're going to get this result, which is majority what the gurus were talking about on Flip. And it was all very high production, cinematic, 4K content on my cameras, edited with B-roll and all that good stuff. And I was like, okay, this is a lot of work. So then I backed up. And I was just like, let me just talk to the phone. A lot of people seem to be getting good results just talking to the phone. I'm always like, if my name's associated with it, it has to be high production. But I was like, let me just talk. And that did 1,000,000 times better than any high production thing I ever posted. And the same has been true with YouTube, because I've been posting on YouTube since 2012. The same is true with YouTube. People just want to talk, and people just want to talk to people. They don't want to talk, or they don't want to watch. They love living vicariously through other people, but they don't just want to watch. Because if they're just watching, there's no connection. There's no, I can relate to this person. I can't relate to, how is this camera on the ceiling? Like, what is all this stuff that I'm watching? People really just want to talk. And then the debates was, the
The
debates.
debates. Oh,
Some people say it ruined Flip, and some people loved it. I loved it.
I loved it, but I think it's because I came in the last 4 months right before Flip ended, and I think the debates. I had a feeling that they. I mean, it depends on the person. You know, it goes as toxic as you want it to go, and it goes as well as you want it to go. But I think what I loved the most was seeing people authentically connect or having the bravery to ask questions that they wouldn't feel comfortable asking offline.
I agree. No, it was realistically like it low key was a little bit of a battlefield, which was hilarious. But my favorite parts of the debates was seeing the different reactions from different people, the different viewpoints. And one of my most popular debates, because what I absolutely loved about this platform is the fact that you could say what you feel and which one, and you can do it on TikTok as well. Just depending on what your standpoint is and depending on the words that you say, it can get like cooked. Like it won't go off. But almost anything that I said could cross 10 to 120,000 views on that platform. And the most controversial thing that I said was along the lines of, you guys are not ready to have a debate. You guys don't have the emotional maturity to be able to understand multiple perspectives, because I always and will always look at as there's two sides to every coin. There's two sides to every
Yes.
story. And if you can't hear both, if you can't take your emotions out of it, you should not be injecting emotional information that may not be factual, or it may not be based on anything that's real. It may just be what you feel. And that's not really helping the conversation at all, which was my biggest thing with debates. I loved it. And there were some stupid debates. The ones like how you pronounce syrup, I was like, I don't care. I really don't. I did not participate in it, but the debates that really gave some good food for thought, I loved. Those were so much fun to participate in, and people were learning different things, and people were like, oh, I'm going to go read that book, and I'm going to do this, and there were people making money from words people said. It was awesome. That part of the feature was awesome. And the Stitch feature on TikTok could be like that, but it's not.
The Stitch feature feels too outside of, like, it's as if there's a video here and then you're stitching kind of, you're not having a conversation, you're commenting sort of
Yeah, it's
feelings stitches give.
it's also just not a very intimate platform. TikTok is not intimate whatsoever. You don't really have much of a connection with your audience unless you are very intentional. Like before I crossed 100,000 followers on any of my platforms, I made an effort to respond to every single comment with detail. And then once I got to a certain growth spurt, I was like, oh, this is exhausting. I can't do this anymore, or this is taking too much time. And I'll tell everybody right now, if you get to that point, don't stop responding to comments, because that's where I lost a lot of my following, was not giving them the attention they deserved.
Well, okay, now I have a question about that. Do you think that social media is changing? I've seen a lot of people use this term into interest media. Like, does it matter as much now that does it matter that we are as social on these platforms versus maybe just giving more expertise on a certain subject? Because now I feel like I'm on smaller platforms, testing out different smaller platforms and finding more of that community that I'm looking for that used to be on these larger social platforms. And now I feel like with these larger platforms, it's like, all right, I'll just make content on subjects I'm really good at that I can really educate people on. And that doesn't have to be as like yes, you have to have some discourse, but it doesn't have to feel as overwhelming.
I will say, sadly, the nature of social media is interest-based media. And I'll preface this with the creator of the internet and the people who created web pages. He said that social media is very disappointing. I'm sure you remember this, when web pages used to be, you could scroll a little bit and then it was go to page 2, go to page 3, go to page 4. The
Yeah.
man who created the infinite scroll regrets it deeply, because he sees what it has done to people psychologically, how it's an endless feed, it's an endless spin ball, it's an endless just scroll, 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 consumption of content, production of dopamine, and there's no real way to stop it. He regrets doing it for several reasons that we can go over, but there's a lot of different reasons. And with that being said, now with the algorithms that are involved with social media, it doesn't matter if it's a web page, it doesn't matter if it's an ad, it doesn't matter if it's social media, it is interest based, sadly. But there is a way to really combat that, and that's what, if you're familiar with like broadcasts on Instagram, which is it kind of sucks. The community feature on YouTube is very good in my opinion. Things like Discord, my WAP, having a community of people. I don't care if it's where, like me on TikTok, I go live, I play Clash of Clans as this nerdy little game, and I just play with all of my followers, and we play Clash of Clans, and we're on the same clan, and this is how I engage with them. This is how I can talk to them, and we can talk about stupid stuff that doesn't have to be about business or money, but this is where we connect. This is where we're all lax. And the thing with social media is, yes, it is all interest-based if you're going for metrics. If you're going, I call them vanity metrics, likes, followers, views, whatever you want to call it, but it is interest-based if you want that. But if you're just looking to cultivate an audience, you don't need it to be interest-based. It can simply be what your product is or your core pillars. I go over the core pillars all the time. And with content, you need both. If you want to grow and if you want to have a business, you need both. You need to have the velocity content, which gets you new people, and then the cultivation content, which really gets them, who are you, what do you do, why do you do it, why do you care, and who are you? And then that's where you can go back and forth and you connect with people, and you can go in the DMs and send voice notes back and forth, and you can video chat each other. I'm very intimate with as many of my followers as I can that want to have a purposeful conversation, because I personally, I know that you're probably the same way. When it comes to having a conversation, if it's vacant, if it's empty, if it's nice weather today, it's like, okay, cool, that's great. But that's not what I want to talk about. And that's really the thing, is most of social media is trendy music and the weather is great today. That's it. And then we forget and then we move on. It's like, it's a formality. It's not actually intentional. It's not the kind of content that people like us like to consume, which is why we go to different platforms, which is why we're attracted to different types of people.
That's true. That's true. So then, what do you prefer for you personally, short form or long form?
Long form. I have a very weird relationship with my phone. As somebody who completely runs their phone from their business, people are weirded out when I say this. My screen time is very low, and I have a love-hate relationship with technology.
Yes.
I don't like it. I will go run around in the woods like a little kid all day long. Like, there was a time in my life when I didn't have enough money to afford my phone bill, and when my phone got cut off, I was like, fuck yes, peace and quiet. I was like, I'll get back to it when I'm on Wi-Fi. I don't care. I'm not in a rush to fix this. And that was very, very early when I lost my first set of businesses during Rona. And all that to say, like, with the phone, with social media in general, long-form content, I only consume it to create and learn. That's it. Even like entertainment or drama or video games, I just can't watch it anymore. I am sitting there watching it thinking to myself, I could be doing something that like actually matters right now. So I just can't even consume it. But yeah, I'm all long form. You?
Definitely long form. I tried short form for a little while, and I would go off and on with being consistent, and I would find that this does not make me feel
Good.
happy or good. So my plan that I'm shifting to this year is I bought myself a vlog camera finally.
There we go. What'd you get?
Uh, actually, so I bought it off of Temu or Temu, however you pronounce it,
I'm
and
not
I
sure.
found the cheapest camera that you can possibly get to vlog with, because I'm in a phase where I'm going back to the basics. Whenever I find myself really lost creatively, or when I want to expand it to a different direction, I just go back to the basics. I don't need to get anything fancy. As a photographer, videographer, like, it's not the tech you have, it's how you use it.
Yes.
I'll say that over and over and over again. So I got this cheap little $15 camera, and it kind of looks a little bit like 1990s Y2K. So I'm gonna give it like a vibe.
There we go. A little
But
Fujifilm. I like it.
yeah, just a little vibe for YouTube, and I'm going to just create several. I have a certain series. I don't want to reveal what the series is because I don't want to jinx myself. But I know I have a vision coming together, and so I'm just going back to the basics with the camera, and going to record the things that bring me the most freaking joy, because every time I do things where I'm following my joy, everything comes to me easier. Everything. This is just how I work personally. I know that's not true for everyone, but this year, like right after Flip ended, I got to finally play a role I've been wanting to play for a while. So I focused on that for 6 weeks because I also lied and said I had the dress when I didn't have the dress. As every actress does, you always just say you can do it and then you figure it out.
Yes, if I'm being honest, that's how a lot of things work. Just throw yourself into it. Don't think about it. If you do that,
Yeah.
you're gonna stay thinking about it for a very
The
long time.
first 2 hours, it's so exciting, and then the last 2 hours, when I got it, I was like, oh no, what have I done? Oh no, and I had the whole freak out and like, why?
I've been the exact same place, the exact same because we both shoot. I own a videography company and I do photography as well. And I've been on the other end of the lens, so I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like, yeah, we can do. I don't have it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm the
I've
exact same way.
so many different instances where you just say you can, and then you just have to evolve to where you can.
Oh, 100%. Even with real estate, when I very first started, I did not have enough for a drone, and I was like, "Yeah, I totally got a fucking drone. We can make this happen." I was like, "How the hell am I gonna get a $2,000 drone to do this?" Because I
Well, you
wanted
have
the
to be
deal.
comfortable.
Well, it
You have
was
to
a
be comfortable in the chaos.
$15,000 deal, and I was like, "Okay, I really need this deal. How can I do this?" And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna get 15 grand when I do this. If I just go put a $200 hour long rental for a drone, I can do the shoot, get the phone, and then I got the payment for the shoot. It went amazingly. And then after that, I was able to buy a drone. And now I have my drone. I love my drone. She's great.
Yay.
But I was like, yeah, I can totally do it. And I had that exact same feeling. I was like, what did I just do? But you have to figure it out, because when you put yourself in that moment, you have to figure it out because you agreed to it, your name is attached to it, and you really, really want to do it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have lied about doing it. So I've been in the exact same place, and it is amazing what the mind can do when you put yourself on the spot like that.
So true. Wait, so what question was I actually answering? Dang it, the ADHD, it came through.
ADHD is amazing. We were very specifically going off of interest-based to no. Maybe you
Wait, it was
asked me.
after Flip. Oh, joy,
Yes.
and how
With
joy
your
can like
content,
help
long form
create.
content.
That's what Flip actually really did, is it helped me bring back my joy, because I just finally was having fun online in a
I was
way.
yapping. I was talking. My videos were 5 minutes long. Five
They
to
were. I
eight
watched
minutes.
many of them. I watched many of them.
I
But
loved it though.
I mean, but yapping brings you joy, yes?
If I drink this, I can go for hours. It's absolutely incredible. And the thing about it is, with YouTube, the most popular, like, people talk about algorithmically, what do you need to do? How much should you be talking? Yada, yada, yada. The highest performing videos throughout the 15 years of YouTube, 5 to 8 minutes long. My videos on
Hmm.
Flip, 5 minutes long, because that was the max time that they allowed. But honestly, that was just the time that gave me enough time to give context, value, and deliver all within the same time frame. Short form content, I don't like Instagram specifically, and I'm sure that you've seen this where you have to shove it all into 60 seconds but don't give people the value, and then they have to comment some stupid keyword to become part of your email. I should be doing that as a business owner. It's probably foolish of me not, but I don't like doing that. I just like giving it to you, and if you want my help and you need my help, you will come to me. That is how I look at it. And it's not the smartest practice as an entrepreneur in the digital age, but it is what I do, and I love the community that I have built, because they're not gonna buy a product and then fuck off in 6 months. Like, that's not what I want. I want to continually work with people and increase my LTV for years to come. That's my goal.
Yes. Long term goals,
100%.
which is why. It's actually just so nice I'm having fun. It's just so nice to talk to someone who's an internet person, as weird as that might sound. Uh, you
There's
know,
not too many. There's a lot of users. There's not a lot of people who are like into it though.
yeah, no, it's true. Like, it's the part of myself that a lot of people, actually everybody in my life doesn't really know about. Now that
I mean, most
hello, you
people
found
don't
me.
see that. It's like it's in there, but until you get to talking or you get the gears moving, you don't really get to experience it. Because I'm the same way. Everybody thinks I'm just a big gym meathead, but in reality, I'm a computer nerd. Like, I started with hardware, moved to software, and I've worked in everything from data analysis. I've done video editing, anything that you can think of. I have worked on with the internet. I'm just a nerd at heart. That's just how I am, though.
Yeah,
And nobody
yeah,
would know that
no,
looking
that's
at
the
us,
same.
though.
Yeah, It's true. It's true. I figured that. Well, I don't know. It's maybe the glasses, or it's just like the vibe where you're latching onto ideas so quickly. Or well, it's also the speaking quickly because I noticed that like when I go out into the world, I'm just very quiet and nobody knows that I'm thinking about or talking
Yes.
at all.
I am myself. People are like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm just in my head thinking."
Yeah, well, because most conversations aren't really useful to have. I've noticed. You go into the world, people just want to have the shallow
The vacant
level.
conversation.
Yeah, how you doing? How's the weather? This thing happened, but people are afraid of having more in-depth, truthful, hard conversations. Uh, Actually, well, to be fair to myself, I did move somewhere that is very isolated, and it wasn't on purpose. It was totally unintentional. I had the shingles when I was 25, so that
Oh, no, no, no.
really reframed everything that I was going through, and it was like, cool, life and death. All right. I mean, it's Shingles is not the first life and death scenario I've been in, but
But it
I've
is
been in
black and
enough.
white. It's pretty certain.
Yeah, yeah. So you start to ask yourself these. I think I've been now isolated. Not like, God, I'm being so dramatic. I'm an actor. Um, when I say
It helps set
isolated,
the scene, though.
yeah, when I say isolated, I just mean that like all of my neighbors are above and beyond 60, and what the heck am I doing here? Uh,
100% agree.
what the heck am I doing here? But I am having conversations with people who are much older and wiser than me constantly. But I do miss the youth, and dang, the ADHD has got me again. What track were we on? What
I
thread were
mean,
we answering?
truly, like you were segueing off of the fact that being an internet person and having intentional conversations about this specifically, you don't get
Yes.
to have them a lot, and that is
No,
true.
it's so rare. Like when I start to talk about it, I know people have no clue what the heck
They're
I'm
like,
talking about.
uh.
Like why are you talking about the internet so much? Oh, well, you really I'm like, because you can make money on the internet, and I don't want to be a part of the 9 to 5
I don't think
drudgery.
people understand the power, not only the power that's in their hand, but the importance of economic freedom. Like I'm like not even to sound rude, everybody knows that I'm very very blunt. If you say that money is not important, you just don't have money. And you don't
It's
value money.
true. It's
But the
true.
thing about money is you can fix your mom's health, you can put your parents away, you can go wherever you want, you can fix your health if need be. Any situation that's an emergency, cool. Any problems you have the tool to fix it, money. Sadly, money is important for health, wealth, freedom, to be
True.
at peace so you don't have anxiety all the time. But nobody connects it. I don't know why they don't connect it. Maybe it's just projecting, maybe they just in denial, the denial phase for their whole life.
Well, I can actually provide some insight into that because I come from a
Please,
unique
please do.
situation. All right. One side of my family comes from extreme wealth, more money than most people will ever have in their entire life. My great grandfather is made a deal with Timex. He sold them watch bands. So from one little invention that brought in a lot of money, and like most families who come into great wealth, that money will be gone by the third generation. That happened is currently happening. I won't get to see any of it.
It's
Sad,
okay.
but
We're gonna create our own.
then the other side of my family comes from poverty, and so I was in. It just really confused me. The side of the family that came from poverty, they were so much happier than the people that came from great wealth. Now, granted, it's the reason why this person who had this money, the wealthy side, they're not happy is because they never had to achieve anything for themselves. They never worked their entire life. So everything was always done for them. And so I think part of feeling really happy with oneself is pursuing your calling and doing things that feel really in alignment with who you are and the people you want to serve in this life. Like your identity has to be more than just money. It has to be bigger than money. And when your identity is bigger than money, money wants to chase you, it wants to follow you. Uh, and so this side of the family, that's why I think people are resistant to money though, is because they've been subconsciously um,
Programs.
programmed or abused by it, or in some ways it's been like in my life this side of the family was using money as a way to constantly like this woman would call me and be like, you guys are poor and you must be
Oh.
miserable and it sucks to be like it sucks that you guys don't have any money. And I'd be like, okay, but I don't live where you're living and I'm not living your life. And also I wasn't born with a giant trust fund that I can just pull from whenever I want to. So like stop trying to make me feel miserable just because I wasn't born with the wealth you have. Like we can build that in our own way. And so now anyways the opposite is happening. This person now has like very little money and everyone she called poor now has
Is
way more money
yes.
and they're going to have better lives because they have a better connection to themselves and have better values and they care about relationships and people and you know karma, it's a real thing. I've just seen it happen in real time with the money aspect, but on a greater scale I think a lot of people experience this. They see if you think money is evil or you think people who have money are evil, it's going to be harder for you to want to have it.
Create it, whether it's conscious or subconscious.
Yeah. And I know I'm just preaching to the choir.
Well, realistically, the thing about it is when you give context and you can give stories and you can put it together like that, it may not be preaching to the choir. You might be preaching to 100 people that, or let's say 80 people that don't get it, and they're still going to stay that way. But the other 20 people, whether they completely adopt the mindset that you just said or whether they get the gears moving, whether it gives them another perspective to look at things, which is why I loved Flip, is because people, not everybody was ignorant. People were like, okay, maybe this one video, like there were plenty of times that people said, dude, you're a complete dickhead. Why are you being so rude? And I would go back and forth with them like 20 times and they'd be like, you know what? You're pretty abrupt, but you're actually kind of right. What you're saying is actually based on facts. It's not just your opinion, yada, yada, yada. And then at the end of the conversation, they're like, I'm going to go try this. And then 2 months later, they come back and they're like, yo, I just made a major breakthrough in my life, or I'm going to therapy, or I just made my first $10,000 online, whatever the case may be. And kind of to go off what you just said, one of the greatest things that I've posted, and I'm saying great, like it's going to fucking change the world, but it's really not. But I said that some people are so poor that all they have is money. Because as somebody who, at a very young age, I had $10 million, I had the cars, I had the houses, I was living in Miami. This was before the whole entrepreneur, let me go rent a Lambo in Miami too. This was in 2018 and I was living. And nobody would know it if they looked at me because I dressed like a gym bum. I was in sweats all the time. But going from that, and I've never hated, I can confidently say I've never hated my life more. I had it all and I was constantly drinking. I was constantly smoking. I was constantly just trying to get away from this empty, vacant feeling. I didn't have a relationship with my family. I basically ran away. And it sucked. And going from that to coming back with zero money, living in my car, and coming back and rebuilding the relationship with my family and traveling the world with them and making money with them and trying to help each of them get through different things in their life. Not to say any names, but like my brother, you know, he was in school and he was writing these suicide notes. And one of my other brothers and sisters, they were going through it in therapy and just different things. Everybody was going through these difficult things and my family was so split. And I wanted to kind of be that glue that could help each part of the family. Not to be Captain Save-A-Ho because I've always been that, but I really wanted to see each person win, and I really wanted to have a relationship with them that actually mattered to me. And going from I had everything that everybody wants to what I made important. And also to go off of what you said, where humans, if you don't do anything, if you don't create it, it's just not important to you. And prison isolation is the worst fucking thing you could ever do to a human. It literally kills them. It psychologically reprograms them. It makes them horrible. That's why when you come out of incarceration, you are never better. You are always worse. Unless it is rehabilitation, which other countries do. Western culture does not do that. They isolate you. They do not rehabilitate you. With that being said, humans are meant to create. We are meant to work together. We are meant to produce because your creativity comes from your soul. I'm sure you know this. And when you do that, it provides fulfillment. When you do that, it provides the sense of importance. And when you're just born with the one tool, you don't do anything. You don't have a drive to do anything. You don't want to do anything. And you inevitably probably don't do anything. And you feel vacant and empty, which is where I was because I did not make my money through any... I don't want to say that it was not hard because it did take me a while to accumulate that amount of money. But to make 7 figures in under a year is not exactly normal, nor was I financially literate to be able to take care of that sum of money.
Ooh, financial literacy.
Yes. And there's so many different things that I've been able to learn along the way that have made me feel happier. They have made me feel more fulfilled, and things that I just want to share with other people. All of those different things that I just went over being part of it. But you're 100% right. People have the option to reprogram the way that they think about money, the way they approach money. I had to relearn financial literacy because I was an all cash kind of guy. And now,
What do you say? What would you say is the number one thing, like way that people can reframe money in their minds if they're struggling to see it in a neutral way?
systemize accumulating it and recognize it is a tool. It is necessary, but don't be desperate for it. But systemize acquiring it so that you can now make sure you know how much you're going to have. You know how much you have to do. You know how much you have to work to get a certain amount, to get a certain dream, to acquire a certain outcome. And if you can do that, it's not as scary because there's so many people. Like my program, I originally told people, I'm going to show you how to make $20,000 a month because I make 60. And then I was like, okay, guys, I'm going to show you how to make the first $1,000. Maybe $60,000 sounds unrealistic, so let's just do the first 1,000. And once you do 1,000, just scale up and replicate what you did to get to 60, just 60x what you just did. But people think that money is scary or it's hard to get or it's impossible or it's for a certain type of person. Money has no name and it is not for a certain type of person. That Bitcoin is sitting there for anybody or any computer to grab. You just have to go after it, and there's so many different ways to make money. I don't care if it's art. I don't care if it's tech. I don't care if you're sewing, doing crochet. You can make money.
I've made money being a pumpkin carver,
There you go. And
a
that's
birthday party clown.
whether it's seasonal or not. It's
Exactly.
value. That is valuable. And if you can provide value, you can in turn acquire money, which is valuable to you in your life. So if people can really get that in their head, I don't even know how people approach money. I don't remember how my stupid ass approached money back in the day, if I'm being completely honest. But if you can reframe it like that, it makes it so much easier to be like, okay, this is what I have to do. If I just stick to it, it will happen and I can acquire it. You just have to
So
simplify it.
you're saying that money is more of a system that you like it's a system of maintenance. Once you have the systems, you just maintain it. And is the hard part actually creating those systems? Or where do you feel like people start to struggle? Like once, okay, you're teaching people how to make their first $1,000, or is there a certain number people get afraid of, or is it an emotional thing?
I feel
I don't
like
know. I don't know what the question was.
no, it's a perfectly great question. I mean, just to verify what you said, you're like, where do people get stuck with making that money, that wealth, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I would say, because I'm sure you've heard of this, there's this thing, limbic friction, which is like at the very beginning of something new or something you don't know. If it is that new to you, limbic friction is the initial start. It's kind of like when the gears aren't touching yet, and to get the car started, it has to catch to move it.
Okay.
If you can get over that initial movement, that first post, that first auto invest into your account, just set up the account. I don't care if it's investing, I don't care if it's making money, whatever it is. Starting is literally the hardest part. Always is, especially if you've never done it. But if you can just start, I don't care if it's $5. I started with $5 with a blanket in my car because I didn't have a house. I didn't have anything. That's where I started. But if you can start, and then you can just make sure that whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're making money, like for me, I go through 20 accounts on Reddit and X every single day. I'm reaching out to brands, UGC, and getting deals. I'm just doing that first. To this day, I'm still afraid of hearing the word no, but I don't care because for every no that I get, I have a chance to get a yes, and another yes could be another $1,000 to $15,000 deal for me. So that's what I'm going to do. But even with the investing, if you just make sure that your investment is going into that account before the other bills are paid, you don't have the option to say, oh, I don't have the money this month. It's automatically going to go into that account, and you're automatically going to be accumulating wealth for the rest of your life. But starting is the hardest part, in my opinion. The numbers part, I believe, in my opinion, it's semantics because different people with different emotional levels. Some people are afraid of $10,000. Some people are like, holy shit, $2,000 is a lot of money. And for me, like, me and my brother were talking about supercars, and we were like, bro, $2 million? That's nothing. I was like, for a car? Bro, I was like, come on. But some people look at that like, never. And that's just depending on, where you're at with your relationship with money. Everybody's on a different level, and everybody starts at zero. And I don't want to say everybody, because some people, like you said, are born with a massive trust fund.
Yeah, that's true.
But there is a point in their life where they cannot access it, and at that point, it is not your money, and you are at zero. Now, I can't speak for ultra wealthy families, especially in royalty, but I know that my buddy has $3 million waiting for him when he turns 30. He didn't have any money. He was adopted. His dad gave him 200 grand when he died. He didn't give him the full 3 mil because he knew he would not be mature enough to handle it, which is why it's available at 30. And he spent all of it in 2 months. Now he's back to zero. But everybody starts at zero. Age zero, money zero, knowledge zero. I don't care. Every single person starts at zero. But if you start, it's
I
better.
just want to emphasize that if any of my creative friends decide to watch this, everyone starts at zero, and especially if you're a creative person, I think, to kind of digress quickly, that's the reason, like, another reason why I'm here is I cannot keep hanging out in the same communities where the information does not exist. So I think if you're a creative person, you have to start expanding outside of your creative friends, and you have to find people who actually know about money to help you understand it and to not be afraid of it, because in a lot of creative circles, there's a lot of fear over money. There's always someone else who has the money to make the movie, or always somebody else who, but what if you had the money? Then you could just make your own movies, right? So
yes. The creative space is I cannot say that I'm like, because I've done modeling, I've done music, I've done a lot of things in the creative space, but the relationship with money, and not to generalize
No, to be honest.
It's not the healthiest in my opinion.
I agree.
Because some of them, and I won't say that it's unhealthy in like a super negative way, but the relationship with how can I make money and keep my creativity, or how can I not wash out my creativity and sell my soul for money, et cetera, et cetera. I can't really understand it, because as my money and as my life depends on how much content I create and the quality of my content, I love creating content. My first time creating content in 2012, I was just recording videos and funny moments playing video games because I wanted to save the moment like a family movie. That's why I started creating content. And I was like, you know what? I love this. And ever since then, I always tell every single one of the people I work with, your life is a movie, and if you have a camera, you can pick it up, and if you can imagine a song, you can put it on that, and you can make that movie whatever you want. And that's why I love creating content. But a lot of people feel as though and have a negative association with money, and they allow or they let creativity hold them back, or whether it's creative rights, or whether it's, I don't know what it is. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I don't know what it is.
No, I'm gonna pull from. I think what you're tuning into is it's an identity. So when I'm speaking to creative people, they're afraid that by not actively engaging in creativity, that somehow they're going to lose it. But it's already inside of you. You're never going to lose it. Like, no matter how long I decide not to be creative for, you can't take it away from me. It'll always be
it's
there.
just an intensity.
Yeah, it's just, creativity can then be put into different structures or form, but if you have it, you have it. And then you have to be brave enough to go, okay, well, what's not working out so well in my life? And for most creatives, that is going to be the financial aspect, and take a couple of years to learn. Damn it.
It does. It actually does.
Take a couple years.
Heavy emphasis on that. And
order some magazines. We had the entrepreneurship magazine coming for a little while. Mind blowing. They had one called How to Unlock Your First $1 Million, How to Make Extra Income. One lady makes $60K a month from selling worksheets on Etsy. I'm gonna do that one. So there's just so many ways to open up your mind to it. I do think a lot of creative people also have to work through like the emotional qualities that I think that would probably be more important, because so many people I know in the creative spaces, well, okay, you just spend it right away. Now it's gone in a week. So
sometimes it depends on how you set up your life, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
It depends on what you do.
A lot of people will spend it right away just because it feels more safe to just do that instead of holding on to it. Because now if you hold on to that money, like, who are you? What's your identity?
Yes. And I'll say that's another dangerous type of entrepreneurship, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. Like, going off of that, a very big part of, because if you've invested a quality amount of time into the entrepreneurial space, and I'm sure you've heard of the Miami Demon, which is basically where once you make your first $10,000, you move down to Miami, you buy a supercar, you post it online. Look at my identity. This is me. This is who I am. It's fucking stupid, and it doesn't help you. It doesn't help people. It's a marketing tactic for people who are broke who want that. It's very gaudy, and I had to learn that the hard way. Not that I posted my lifestyle before, because my initial money that I made, I had 10 to 15 clients. They were all paying me $10,000 a month. They were entrepreneurs down in Miami, and I taught them fitness coaching. I owned a club, I owned a gym, yada, yada, yada. I didn't post any of it at all. I just did fitness modeling in Miami. That's what I posted. And I had 300,000 followers through helping people get shredded, get jacked. They were entrepreneurs. And then I tried another page because I've been hacked and I've had to start several pages over and over again. I tried the whole look at my Lambo, and it worked for a while, but it just sucked and I hated it. And something that this one kid, Suwei, said, he's this Asian guy, he's super dope. He said, I want to be remembered for the people that I helped and the things that I know in my brain, not the things that I have. And one of the biggest things, because my buddy actually made a video about this, he was crying on YouTube the other day. Not to say that crying is bad, it's a completely normal processing of emotions, but he was crying because it really is crazy to me. Once you make your first $10,000, once you make your first $1,000,000, after that, like you said, it's like, okay, what do I do with this? Like, cool. This is not, there's no end all be all. You can do things with it, but it doesn't do anything for you. With what I do, every single time one of my clients hits $10,000 a month, I remember the first time I hit it, life-changing feeling, and it dies after like 5 minutes. But every single time one of my clients hits it, I get to relive that dopamine. I get to relive that moment. And it doesn't matter what number you hit. It doesn't matter what you do. The journey, the creativity, the things that you are doing in pursuit of that money, I promise you, matter way more. And you will remember way more. And you will feel way more than when you hit that goal. Every single time. I tell people this every single time. The number is great. It might buy the life that you want. But 1% better every single day is very purposeful. That is very, very purposeful because along the way, you're going to become the person you want. You're going to have the things that you want. You're going to develop the mindset, the body, everything that you need along the way. And it's very, very important to remember that in the pursuit of money because money is important, but it's such a complicated thing.
I actually have this little note card on my fridge that says, like, what adjectives do you want people to describe you when you're like 85 years old or when you're old, basically? Because I mean that's ultimately all you really are. When you die, you're just
what you're remembered as.
Yeah. What you're who you were to the people that meant the most to you and shared special relationships with you. But the fun part is for me is like I feel like I'm in a phase in my life where it's like I have pretty much everything. Like really, I'm really content with myself and like who I am and who I'm becoming, and I just got married. I feel so over the moon with just everything.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. On Halloween it was the best.
Oh, that is dope. That's gonna be remembered for a very different day. That's actually very funny. I just attended a wedding with my fiance and they met each other at a Halloween party and now they got married last month.
Oh my
That
gosh,
is so funny.
Congratulations to them. It was the only date available, and I was like, oh, it's because our ancestors want to be there. You know, the dead also want to attend.
That is perfectly fine. We love that.
So it was just so exciting, and I think that my main focus now, and why I feel like I'm coming like in alignment with your energy or your frequency, or why I felt pulled to it, is because like now I'm in a phase where it's like, all right, I pretty much have everything. So now the 3 things that I need to focus on are my fitness, my financial literacy, and friends.
It's very funny. You remember Gabe?
Yes.
Cool guy. And when I tell you,
I can't wait to see you guys' podcast.
Gabe and Zoe and Nikki, all the people from Flip very specifically, all of them have said the exact same thing to me. The same thing as you, actually. Isolated is a feeling that they have. But being on this journey that you, me, and all of us are on, this creative journey, this journey in economic freedom and pursuit of happiness, not all of most of our friends and family have no clue what the fuck they're doing and they think we were crazy. And it is very difficult to thrive in a vacant house, a vacant community, a big warehouse where everybody's there, and you can't talk to anybody and relate to anybody and talk about what you're doing. But the thing that I really love with all of us talking and getting together and having these conversations, I have become so close to these people, and we think the same way, and we bounce amazing ideas off of each other, and we feed off of each other, and it is so much easier to operate creatively and at your best frequency when you have other friends, other people on this journey with you. It is so much easier than being and doing it alone. I have done it alone, and I have done it with people, and it is a million times easier to combine your energy to be this massive snowball of success and this massive accountability partners, this community of success, rather than
Yes.
you keeping yourself accountable, you telling yourself you have to do it, you figuring everything out. You can do it, but it's 99% harder than doing it with a massive or small group of people who are all doing it together and want the same thing and help each other achieve the same thing.
I think
It's a massive difference.
I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned in the last 10 years is I used to think I had to do everything by myself,
Yes.
which is what led to the burnout because I was like, all right, yeah, I'm going to film it. I'm going to act in it. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to do the too much.
It is way
Relax.
too much.
Like
Even with
just do it
me,
with friends and also I think the parallel, I have one friend where it's like we'll get on FaceTime and it's like we have this one important task that we have to do. We both probably have ADHD. And we just set the one goal for 2 hours. Okay, let's get it done. And we're just online. We're maybe not even talking. Maybe
but
listening to
it's
music.
like we're both sitting there. We have to get this done. We're going to do it together. And if I see you fucking off, I'm going to be like, yo, what are you doing? My business partner, David, I was the same way. We would sit down to like script or cold call businesses or edit videos. And I'd see him scrolling and I'd be like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? And he'd be like, right, you're right, you're right, you're right. Yeah, I do that too. Because we both have ADHD as well. So it was the same exact way. Having, like, that is a very simple thing. But as humans, one, we've only had technology for maybe max 100 years. We're not used to this shit. And biologically, we're not engineered to be able to maneuver it properly. And
Yes.
sorry to say, it is kind of addictive for some people. I do not have an addictive personality, thank the Lord, but a lot of people do. And it's very hard to resist literal scientific programming of addiction that is part of technology. So to be able to help each other combat that is a very, very helpful thing. And it's very, very important because business and money requires speed. And if you can't do it with speed and you're being stopped scrolling and you're checking messages and notifications, you're fucked. You're just fucked.
I think, well, I checked. I have like 20 something email addresses. And then, wait, this is going to segue into it. Because what you're like, it's so easy to get distracted when you're online. So I've just created so many accounts so that I can just create the algorithm to be like the one specific
Yes,
thing
you
that I
have
need
to.
to. And I know it seems crazy because when I was going through all my accounts, I was like, this is so many accounts. But I know, like, give me about 20 years, some of these handles are going to be worth something. Or
I
these
still
like
collect domains to this day, and they pay off. It's like holding a fucking ETF stock or some shit.
I think domain trading is. I'm still a beginner at it. I stumbled upon it several years ago, but the idea of just like a name being worth something is really fascinating to
It's
me.
kind of insane, honestly.
Yeah, and
It's
also I've already, if anybody's trying to ever steal my brand, you can't. I already got all the usernames. They're all mine.
that's a smart approach. I went through and I had to collect like the Jay's Physique, official Jay's Physique. I accidentally changed my TikTok name and it said the dot real dot Jay's dot physique. And I was just like, what is your problem, TikTok? I didn't do it purposely. It was lagging and the account reset. I was just trying to change my name, not the username, and I lost my username for like a month. And I was like, some
I know.
doofus is gonna come use this shit.
It's the perfectionism because you're like, I could have taken that name. It would have been
Yeah.
mine.
I finally got
And
it back like 2 days ago though, so I'm happy about that.
oh yes, congrats. No, that's such a great feeling. Truly, truly. Like I did all the other spellings of magic, GYK, that's mine.
You have
And
to.
if anybody else has that name, I already have them screenshotted in a folder for when I have enough money to be like, hey, I need you to sell me that username.
Yes. And the funny thing is, some people will be like, why? And some people are like, you'll give me money. And some people are like, just take it, bro. Just take it. It's so funny but yeah, no. Domain trading is honestly one of the funniest and most niche things on the internet. I won't say it's the most
I
niche,
was
but
so
it's niche.
surprised. I was so surprised when you brought it up because I felt like you just revealed one of my secrets. I was like, nobody knows about this.
Not many people do. It's a crevice. It is literally a
Don't tell
crevice.
anybody. I'm gonna collect them all. I'm
Most
gonna
people
collect
are
them
not
all.
even going to take the time to do it, I promise you. Most people aren't.
No, they're not. They're
They're going to be
not.
like, oh, I'm going to go start 2 emails and then give up. That's how most people are.
I just, I mean, I feel like if you're an entrepreneur, there's this natural rebelliousness that is within you
It
that
starts
can't
in
be
school.
stopped. Yeah, it starts in school. Although my story, like in school, is a little different. Is that I actually graduated valedictorian, had a ton of awards, ton of classes, blah blah blah. Like it's a very gifted child burnout type of story where you realize like, oh, no one really cares about the awards, and in fact, no one really cares about me.
Yeah, high school was
Yeah,
very funny. School was funny in general. I was homeschooled the
school.
first part, so it was weird transition for me in general.
Wow. How long were you homeschooled until?
Until 5th grade.
Did you
So
like it better than regular school?
I hated it. And the transition was so bad because I had 3 friends my entire life growing up, so making friends was already hard enough after 5th grade. And then both of my parents are Caucasian, so as soon as like there was a first teacher meeting, they were like, "Why are your parents white and you're black?" I was like, "Okay, what?" Never thought of it my entire life, so that was a completely different part of my life that was just weird as fuck. Because I never thought about it. Kids don't ask, "Why are you black? Why are you white?"
Right.
I had 3 friends. They were African, Latino, and black, and that was my friends for like what is 5th grade? Like 10 years old, 11 years old.
10.
I never looked at my skin, and I came home and I was like, "Why am I black and you guys are white?" And then they told me, and it was just a whole fuck. But all that to say, school was interesting for me from a very very young age, and you can probably maybe relate to this. Like I would just hear like artists on the radio. I'd see people with posters. The social media was getting started. I was always like, bro, you guys are gawking over somebody who doesn't even know you fucking exist. They don't care about you, and even if they do sign your football, they'll never remember you. Like, what are you doing? The obsession over social media influencers and superstars, and it has always turned me the hell off. If I'm being completely honest, I've been like, this is stupid.
I think I'm a bit older than you, so my experience with the social media wasn't quite there
I
yet.
wasn't there yet.
It was YouTube that was taking off with the oh gosh, I used to watch this really funny Asian guy, Ryan Higa. I don't remember the shoes. Do you know the shoes video? Shoes. Let's get
I
some shoes.
I can't say that I did. I've lived under a rock when it comes to most
Yeah,
of
no,
the
I think
sensational
we're in
stuff.
different eras of social media. I think it was way more. I'm like a zillennial.
Well, even like
So
with like the viral or the memes nowadays, I don't know any of them. I've
yeah,
never known them. I've always just been under a rock. I'm like, okay, whatever.
I was just doing too much homework to even participate in anything. Like I would wake up at like 3 a.m. to do homework, and then I would go to
Mm.
school, and I'd come home. Oh, before I came home, I was probably at some club, then some kind of rehearsal. There was just I didn't stop until I got the shingles at 25. Like that is how my life has been. It was just constantly go, 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 go. And
Your
so
life
now
said you need it. Your body said you need a break, bro. You need a
it
break.
says stop immediately.
Yeah. I mean, things will happen when they need to, and if I'm being honest, I've had to learn that the hard way. Things don't happen the way you want to; they just happen the way that they need to.
Yes, yes,
And
they do.
sometimes it sucks, but a lot of the times, if you take the right steps and you look at it the right way, you can get out of it. And a lot of people will just roll over sometimes. So,
It's true. It's true. I'm so freaking glad that we have done this. We did it 1 hour, a one
no,
hour
we did.
podcast. I know I was actually so nervous for like the first 30 minutes before logging on. I was like, okay, I haven't done this in a while. I haven't spoken to like a random stranger from the internet before in a while. I mean, that's not true. Sometimes I do hop onto TikTok lives and those tend to go really well. But then sometimes they never reach out back to me and I'm like, damn, we could have been friends. We could have been
Yeah,
friends.
a lot of people don't really like. I can't even sit here and like say this, but like my relationship managed personally, honestly, is not that amazing either. Um, But as a business owner, I need to make sure that my customer relations management is good, which is why I
Right.
have this routine of like, if I haven't spoke to somebody in 6 months, I always go through my contacts and I just reach out to them. Like my friends from like 12 years ago that I used to play video games with, I hit them up every 6 months. I'm like, bro, did you kill yourself? Are you good? You're okay? Okay, awesome. Like I want to make sure that people are still doing good, they're doing okay, and just touch base. I just don't feel like a lot of people care until they need something nowadays, and it's a good to care when it's unnecessary, and it's some people just need to be felt like people care about them, or they're getting checked on, or
That
that
is so
somebody
true.
even listens. Like sometimes that random touch base turns into a whole 2 hour long conversation that was needed. I've lost too many friends because nobody spoke to them and they didn't have it when they needed it. So it's very important to me to do that. But
I think that's really excellent that you're doing that. Like, I think a lot of men are really like actually experiencing loneliness far deeper than I, I think women cultivate more easily longer, deeper friendships
they
just because of
do.
how we're conditioned to do it. So I think that's really awesome that you do that. And now on the weird side of like I was gonna flip it for a second because part of the reason why I do need to find new friends is when you're like an excellent person and you're excelling, right? A lot of your friends start becoming your biggest haters. It's true, it's true.
Yeah,
But
it really is.
and it's just it sucks so hard because like most of the time when you're excelling at something, you're not even thinking about like you're just so focused and so passionate about
You are
what you're
quite literally
doing.
locked in.
Yeah, that's a great way to think about it. So then when these other things that are just drama that happen outside of you and you had no clue they were happening, or suddenly like a whole friend group hates you now because you've gone in a different direction or you've elevated into a different form and now somehow they've projected that you think you're like I wasn't even thinking about whether or not I'm better than you. I'm not
I
actually.
was
I'm
just
actually just
doing what I
so
need to do, yeah.
involved in what I'm doing that and so like there I think that's like kind of a big uh what's the right word? That can be a little bit of a poison, I think, in like female friendships, is that suddenly there's talking and then no one cares to reach out to be like, hey, did this actually happen? Are you okay? How are you doing? And you're just enemy number one.
Yeah. I feel like with the actually this I don't even know how many men this applies to anymore. I'm a very confrontational person. I don't want to say that I'll start shit, but I do like to confront things with facts. I'm not afraid to do it. I want to know if it's true, and I need undeniable proof. Like I will run that video that you say is true through an AI. Like I will make sure it's real before I make any decision whatsoever. But also, men don't really have emotional conversations in general. And
That
that
is
was
true.
one of the biggest catalysts for my personal brand during Rona. My entire personal brand was men's mental health coaching community, and men's loneliness was absolutely massive. Heartbreak, whatever you want to call it. There was so many different issues. But I 100% agree. A lot of men don't have that touch base. A lot of men don't really have those conversations, or it's frowned upon. There's so many different ways you could put it. But I do agree. Um, a lot of times dudes just really don't integrate themselves like that. They don't develop friendships like that. But the thing that is weird about men, you've probably heard this from hubby before, is we can go years without talking, and the second we have a conversation, it's like we just picked up yesterday.
Oh yeah,
It's just
yeah.
how it is. I don't know why. That's just how it is. I love it. It's great. But building the right relationships on the right foundations and having the right conversations is very important for like a wholesome understanding of, how you guys operate, what you guys are okay with, what you guys are not okay with, what's true in life, what's not, where you guys are going. I can 100% relate though. I've gone through several different friend groups. It's well, not several. I've gone through several lifestyles. Me and my brother always
Hmm.
say we've lived a couple of lives since the age of 17. I can confidently say I've lived about 7 different lives, and it's been an incredible journey. But it really is impressive to see how fast people come in and leave when you are not providing anything, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. And I guess I like to say, I mean this so respectfully, as it is super respectfully, but it's called friendship because the ships do sail away,
They do,
on their own path wherever they need to be. And
and
like
there's
if
nothing
we meet
wrong with that.
again, no, nothing wrong with it at all. If we ever meet again, or especially like I would say in the acting space, right? You might work on a project, never see that person for years, and then maybe you cross paths again. And there's so many, and I think that's part of like the loneliness going back to the flip people that we're experiencing is that we're just moving. I like how you said lifestyles. We're moving through many different lifestyles. Like I'm sure you've had like an era of party lifestyle. I did for like a short section of my life as well. And
Yes.
then there's an era of just trying to do too much and trying to do every business under the sun. And then they all fail at the same time. And now you've got nothing. And
Basically.
then there's eras of loneliness. And so I think it just comes down to, or what I'm trying to simplify here is acts of bravery. And I think acts of bravery include vulnerability and like sharing yourself authentically with people.
To go off
So
of that, I would feel, I feel, you can tell me if this is wrong. That is something that people who are actively, continuously trying to develop themselves, people who are not, and they're okay being with the same friend group, doing the same things every single day for the rest of their life, don't really go through that. Everybody feels loneliness, but I've known and heard from several of, because I've always had friends older than me, like 20, 30, 40 years older than me. My brother's 57, um, and he's literally twice my age. A lot of these people don't really go through the same things. They have the same friends their entire life. They do the same shit. They go to the same job. They have the same problems their entire life. And there is, no, in my opinion, there's nothing brave about that at all. Um,
that's you know what? It's funny because I just don't know. I know that that is real and that it exists. I've just never fully been in those spaces because I've always kind of been in the liminal areas of
yeah,
life.
no. I would cry if I ever realized myself in one of those situations. I'd be like, how the fuck did I get here? Like, what? I just know that they exist. I do know that they exist.
I know that it exists. I just see it online. It's just like when I think of my life, it's just very bizarre. I mean,
I love it though.
even
I love it.
I love having the bizarre in my life, and my dad always says like no one can say your life is boring. You've lived a very full life. Like if I died tomorrow, I'm at peace. I'm at peace with my life, at peace with myself. Um, but I'm not gonna die tomorrow, so I want to make like some money and have good friends and like be financially and
No, we
fit.
want to make the best of everything that we do have.
Absolutely. Now my question to you that is coming through, why do you think that why do you think you have this kind of awareness? Where do you think it came from? Like, was there a moment where you realized there had to be a moment where you were like, okay, I have a lot of awareness and I'm experiencing things in a very different way that from other people.
This might sound really morbid,
Okay.
but from my childhood, I can't say that it was bad. My dad did everything that he could to put food on the table and make money, and my parents did what they could in their current knowledge database to raise me the way they could. But the reason that I believe that I think and process things the way that I do is simply because of how much time I've spent alone in my own head. Something that a lot of people are told, and I've even heard this from therapists, and I debated this on Flip. I said therapists are fucking stupid, and now in this moment of time, I'm actively contemplating visiting a therapist for some things that are in my life, because obviously the voice in your head is biased. But the thing that I'm going to say here is that therapists have told me in the past, if you talk to yourself in your head, you're crazy. That's absolute bullshit. That you live with that voice, and you should be talking to that voice all the time. Where I process different scenarios, I talk about different things in my head. My entire life, I have spent a lot of time alone. I'm introverted at heart, but I have to be extroverted in my business. And I've spent so much time alone thinking of different things, contemplating different things, planning different things, running different scenarios, what could be bad, what could be worse, what could be good. And I live by the saying, expect the worst and accept the best, but pursue the best because you deserve the best. And with that being
Mm.
said, the more time that you spend alone, the more time you can really think about what matters to you. And if you don't have a lot and it feels as though everything has always been taken away from you and you've had to build everything that you have, you realize very quickly how much control you have over your outcomes, your life, the way that you think, the way that things happen to you. And that solitude, I'm a firm believer, has developed my mind in the way that it is, whereas a lot of other people constantly hate the voice in their head. They hate being alone. They immediately go to social media. They have to have a conversation. They have to sit on FaceTime for 8 hours. They cannot be alone. They hate being alone. They hate themselves for obvious reasons, whether it's looking in the mirror or whether it's they're shameful of the decisions they're making every day. People don't like spending time alone. But the number one place that I have found growth and the number one place that I have found peace is being alone. Eating in a restaurant alone, doing work alone, traveling alone. Being alone has given me so much clarity on so many different things. And infinite confidence comes from being alone. But that's just my opinion. Maybe other people develop differently. I'm not sure. I don't know the psychological aspects of that. But you should be able to talk to yourself for hours and you should be comfortable alone. There's no reason that you should not be able to do that. And a lot of people are afraid of that.
I feel like that actually really resonates, especially with what everyone else has said, that there's a sense of isolation. So, which is why I'm not like, oh no, I'm isolated, you know. Oh no, far away from everybody.
Right.
It's I have also been alone. Like when you're constantly trying to expand yourself. I mean, it requires a lot of alone time. It's necessary. Otherwise, how do you tune into the thoughts that are really yours and the instinct that's really yours without being alone?
You just hear outside inputs constantly. The world is constantly feeding us information. Like humans are meant to be adaptable to circumstances, to environments, to information, inputs. These are just inputs because the human brain operates on ones and zeros. It's binary, just like computers, and it operates on inputs. There has never in human history been more inputs ever than with technology. There's
Oh
never been
yeah.
more distractions. There's never been more noise in your head. I used to think meditation was stupid, and now it's one of the most important parts of my day. It's very important to be able to hear the voice inside your head. That's your conscious, that's your soul, that's you. You should probably listen to that because you were born with that, you're going to die with that, and you should
But
probably listen.
apparently not everyone has that. Apparently a lot of people they don't hear
Psychopaths
anything.
don't have it. I'll say that. There are some people who just don't have it. They have like 50 different voices up there.
Oh
It.
no. Oh no. I'm just kidding. But also not.
I mean, but the thing is, like I said, like I like to preface a lot of things that I say with, but that's just me. Because not everybody operates the same way. Not everybody has the same advantages and disadvantages. Maybe some people don't have that. Maybe some people just have too much noise to do that. But the thing about it is, if you don't have that, if you sit in silence and you're thinking, what the fuck are you thinking? You're just looking at nothing. You do have a voice. It's you walking yourself through the different things that you're thinking about. Why am I sitting here? Why do I have an itch on my neck? What the fuck? I need to clean that. That is the voice that you're talking to. You just have to have the control to redirect what the voice is saying and what it's doing. I do
Yes.
that all the time. I could be
Yes.
thinking about something while sitting in my sauna, and I don't care if dudes are thinking in a lustful manner. I don't care if you're thinking about money. I don't care if you're thinking about vanity. I don't care what you're thinking about. If you don't have the power to redirect exactly what you're thinking about in under 10 seconds, you do not have discipline or self control. You need to be able to breathe and retrain what you're thinking and think about one singular thing. If you can't do that, you obviously have no control over your mind and it runs you. You do not run your mind. You do not
That
run
is
your
so
body.
true. That is so true. Well, what kinds of things, well, or I could just share what I do. I just have little like notes everywhere that
Yes.
just kind of remind me of my power. Or even with the money situation, right? When Spirit Halloween was around, I bought some of that pimp style money, and I just but it did, it changed my brain. Like I was like, wait a minute, yeah, there it is, boom. It's like the subconscious needed to be rewired in that way,
Yes.
especially because we're coming into somewhat of a cashless world. Just to have that tangible like fake money just helped me go, wait a minute, the fuck, I
No,
am
literally.
fine, like I'm totally good. And just having these small reminders in the ways that you can, like there's so many hacks to realize that you're not your thoughts, and that they're just, I mean, sometimes I can be totally at peace, but then I'll hear like the two different voices. I definitely have two different voices for sure.
You have
Like,
little
well, because,
angels right here.
oh, yes. I have the angel and devil voice where, like, and this is also why sometimes I need to put myself in isolation when I'm talking to people, because I'm very good at seeing the shadows of what people are actually saying when they're saying, you know, when someone's saying something on top, but they actually
It's
mean
a
this in the
backhand.
bottom. Yeah. And so then I have to decide, well, which voice is going to come out? Am I going to let the more angelic person with more empathy come out? Or am I just going to say the bullshit that they really need to hear in this moment? Or maybe I need to like uphold some boundaries. And then there's the middle person, the middle path, which can kind of combine both of those. But I have to be very disciplined and focused on those days. Like I have to know I'm coming into that conversation. And if it happens in the morning, the devil speaker is definitely going to be more
More
have more
present.
presence.
I'm not a morning person. I'm really not.
Oh, it's really not for me.
But having those reminders is really good. Like I always say, neurons that fire together work together. If you can rewire your subconscious or your conscious, which arguably your conscious is more important. Well, no, your subconscious is very important if you sleep a lot. I sleep like 2 to 4 hours a night. Your subconscious is most optimal at night, and your conscious obviously is during the day. But rewiring that is a very important task that most people don't know how to do.
Do
And
you?
it arguably controls the outcome of your entire life. And most people don't take the time to learn how to do it. And it's the same with self-control, whether you're fat and you're putting too much food in your mouth, or whether you're skinny and you don't want to go to the gym because it's hard and it's ouchy, which was me, except it was a lot more painful to be called skinny and to be picked on and to not be able to open fucking big doors in New York because I was 110 pounds when I first started working out. I was a small little kid.
Oh wow. Okay,
And
wow.
it does not matter if it's a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. It does not matter. All of these things can be trained the same exact way a muscle can be trained. And like you have the notes everywhere, you don't have to immediately become this guru that sits and fucking crosses his leg and sits there for an hour and reads a book and you don't have to do that. One thing every single day will help rewire your neurons to do that more consistently with less limbic friction, with less, issue. And if you take the time, just do one thing every day. And if you do one thing every day, you've become 365% better, and that means that your brain is going to work at 365% better function. Whereas sometimes you have the bandwidth to do 5 to 10% better every day. If you do 10% every day, you're at 3,650% better by the end of the year. So if you just do one single thing, one single sticky note a day, eventually doing it will be easy. Sitting still will be easy. Controlling your thoughts will be easy. Controlling your energy levels and taking the supplements you need and going to the gym, all those things will become easier if you just do them in increments. Don't stress yourself out, just do them. And then eventually it will become a habit. And that habit will be easy. The book Atomic Habits goes over this. I have read it before. But if you want to really simplify what it's saying make it easy for yourself. Do not stress yourself. Do not burn yourself out trying to become better, because then you will resent it. So do the little things. Make it easy. Once it's easy, stack the easy things together. That will be hard for a little bit of time, but after you've stacked it for a little bit of time, then it will become easy in longevity, and it will become part of your natural state and how you operate in life. If you can do that, you are on the road to be much more successful and in control of yourself and in control of your thoughts and your subconscious. That helps wonders.
It definitely does. It sure does.
I know that with the sticky notes that you have, I only have like 4 or 5 things that I do, but having them in different reminders, visual reminders like your sticky notes, my mirror where I get ready every day has the things that I need to do every single day to maintain that written on the mirror.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna segue it into because it's gonna relate the subconscious. So there is the 1% better every day, but then, well, my question is, do you dream? Do you dream and do you remember your dreams?
I've done dream training before. Whenever I smoke, I do not. Whenever I have THC lacking in my system for more than 2 weeks, I dream crazy. So, yes.
That is where I find in the dreams, that's where I do the most subconscious reprogramming. I have like many dream journals. And for example, if I have a question about something in my life, one really prominent one, when I first moved to upstate New York, I totally wasn't thinking about vitamin D deficiency. And
Same. I didn't know that I need more than the regular human.
yeah, I had no clue, and I was crying like every day. So I went to sleep and I was like, all right, dream world, please tell me what is going on. Why am I crying every day? What the hell is happening? And I had a dream where I was talking to myself, and I literally said to myself, you need to take more vitamin D. I swear to you, I wrote it down and I just didn't pay attention to it. And then a year later, So I didn't listen to the dream. A year later, I realized I needed more vitamin D. I bought some. And then I ended up finding the dream that I wrote. And I found that I was telling myself, oh, you need more
Oh,
vitamin D.
God,
And I've
that's
had
crazy.
so many dreams like that where it's like I need to evolve in some way. So ever since that vitamin D dream, I take it like way more seriously, and I'll read through like, okay, what's going on? Your dreams have symbols and layers that you can deconstruct to understand like where you need to make big leaps in life. So a lot of times it happens in like four different realms. So you have like a first layer, and then it goes down second, third, fourth, and the fourth will be the light bulb moment that you have. And so I think some people call this dream yoga. I don't know. I like to call it dream walking, where you're just kind of observing the symbols and then analyzing the symbols, and then from that it kind of creates a poem, but it'll get to a point within you that you need to actually evolve. That's like very complicated for most people. I don't know if a lot of people remember their dreams or not.
I will say with the utmost confidence, I I firmly believe that that is true. Like I talk about subconscious and conscious all the time, and they play hand in hand. Whether we're talking about dimensional, whether we're talking about just the way that your brain works and wiring, what you think about is what you become, and you think the most when you sleep. Being able to control that, like I've heard that people can literally control their dreams, and I've
Oh
ran
yeah.
from my dreams a majority of my life. Like I've just run from them because they've never been good. Like I've had recurring, I don't want to call them nightmares. When I was younger, I had way too many visions. Like the shit that I dreamed came true, and it scared the fuck out of me every single time, years in advance. And so I've always kind of ran from my dreams. And then as I've gotten older, um, I'm a night owl. I get all of my work done at night. And if I don't use blue blockers, or if I have a lot going on, I go to sleep at, 4 or 5 a.m. And so I usually will have some sort of THC substitute, whether it's an edible or whether it's smoking, to help me go to sleep a lot faster. I use it more medicinally. Creatively is stupid, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. Um, it slows down my productivity, so I use it to sleep. But THC being on I forget which scale it is. I don't. It's not psychedelic. It's somewhere in the realm of you're already close to what is it? Because it also interferes with the drug that they use to put you to sleep for surgery.
Melatonin? Oh no. What wow, what is that called? Oh, come on. It
It's
Wait, what is it called?
anesthesia. That's what it is.
Thank you.
Like
Anesthesia.
anytime I've had surgery, or like when I got my wisdom teeth pulled, they're like, "Do you smoke?" And I said, "Hell yeah, you better give me a lot of that because I'm gonna feel it." And that dream realm is partially accessed by THC. It has psychedelic effect. Yeah, it is psychedelic. It has psychedelic effects, not as much as mushrooms do, but you can enter one of those realms that you're talking about through doing it. Um, and so, with that being said, since you're already partially there, it's a lot harder to enter that state when you're always there smoking from being around it. That's why a lot of people have trips and they see different things and they do different things. I've never been on that level, thank God. But with that being said, it does block the dreams, and studies have shown that it blocks you being able to access or remember your dreams. Sometimes it blocks them, sometimes it blocks REM, sometimes it blocks deep sleep. It depends on who you are. But me, I would really like to kind of observe that more, like you're talking about. That would be really cool. But I think I just need to get a better sleep schedule because whenever I do have THC in my system, I just don't dream at all. And
Oh,
I've liked
I
it, but I should
understand.
stop.
I understand. I've been there. I've been there before, and I missed my dreams because for me the dreams feel like another reality, and I'm truly
Probably
there.
feel
And I have
freeing.
lucid I have lucid dreams before, and
I used to
that's what protected.
sleepwalk, which was horrible. Thank God I don't do that anymore.
Oh no, no, that could be so dangerous.
Yes.
But take your dreams, right? And then if like I'm feeling really lazy and I don't want to analyze it, plug it into ChatGPT, see how it analyzes it for you, and there'll be moments, days where I'll put my dream in, And the breakthrough is so massive that just it's like the entire reality I'm living in just does a whole, I don't know, like a Zelda puzzle switch, and it just things start clicking into place
The
so
answers actually
fast.
come out.
Yes, yes, the answers do come out way faster
That has
than,
always been the case. Like I said, those visions were terrifying at times. At
oh,
times.
they're very terrifying. And also when you know the like when the dream realm also knows when you're aware of it, and that's when it starts getting scary. Like right when you're on the bridge of lucidity, that's where the dream starts to get a little bit like, oh, not
Now
here.
we can play.
Oh.
I've always had that feeling, not a full understanding. And I guess because, like, I grew up in a very religious household. I have since stepped away from it, and I always told myself, when I have enough money to not worry about jack shit else, then I want to explore my spirituality. Religion in general, I don't feel as though I'll be partaking in anytime soon. But spirituality in general, I want to heavily explore. And I want to do it when I have time to focus on it. It's probably not the best way to go about it. I should probably do it earlier than not. But at the
No, you
same
know what?
time, I'm aware of it.
All right. That this is no, this is why we're meeting. I feel like I'm heavily on that side and you're heavily on the side that I want to be. It's like a
It's literally like the bridge to we both got this.
yes. And
Exactly where we need to be.
that would be my number one hope. Like I have gone into so many portals of spirituality, but none has been more powerful, in my personal opinion, than the dream world, because the dream world is you. That is you 100%. There's no other input except for the input that's already inside you that wants to be known. And so to uh, those symbols that are in your dreams, that's just you. Sometimes they're very, very blatant. I would just say, just start dream journaling. Like, and it doesn't even have to be like, oh, I was in the forest and a fairy appeared, and like, you know, it doesn't have to be so crazy like that. Like, sometimes it'll just be, I'll wake up and I'll be like, alligator, 333, just like a few key words, and that's what helps bring you right back into like what the dream was about. Because sometimes I'll fall back asleep and then I'll look at the keywords and I'll
And you're like,
see what the dream was.
oh. I will have to do that then because I will say, like, whenever I can't fall asleep, this sounds weird, but I would either go into like a audio notepad and I would just talk about all the things that are on my mind so that I can stop thinking about them and process what I have to do tomorrow or whatever. Or I would talk to Claude or ChatGPT and I would just talk to it. It would ask me questions, whether it's self development or whether we would just talk about random subjects and shit that's in my head. I would just talk to AI about it and be like, yo, until I fall asleep, we're going to talk about this shit. And I would fall asleep with different shit going on, but I would get it out. So I'm probably gonna have to do that because if I at least can't dream, it is also known that you're at your highest point of creativity when you first wake up and when you're falling asleep. So I write my scripts when I'm falling asleep because that's just how your brain operates. And
I hate when it's like the falling asleep part because then it can wake
it's
me
like,
up where I'm like,
fuck.
yes, I have a genius idea. I
Exactly.
have to. What other weird things? Okay, here's another weird dream experience that I had. I had a dream that I saw one of my friends in her dream, and then I posted about it on Instagram, and she was like, "That's crazy that you dreamt that because it's my reoccurring nightmare."
Oh yeah, me and my mother
And I was,
share one of those.
yeah.
Yeah, we do. That's another reason I always hated dreaming. It was weird because it never ends in her favor very well. Um, Also, yeah, no, the dream world is a very powerful thing. Anything that I consume immediately gets reproduced in my dream, which is another thing. Like I'm very careful with the content that I consume.
Yes, you have to
I
be.
have to be very very careful. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anything image or even audibly related, I have to be very careful what I consume.
Would you consider yourself as like a sensitive person?
Um,
Like sensitive in the way, maybe not like so much emotionally, but like sensitive can just mean like you, I don't know, feel,
oh, things
see things
amplified.
vividly. Like just things are amplified. Yeah. Like if
I
I
would
could,
say
I would wear
very.
headphones.
I
I
would
would wear.
say
I don't.
100%. Yes, I am very. Even with
Sensitive.
emotions, I feel them a little bit greater. My mother used to call me an empath. I don't know if I would say that. I just feel them at a greater level. But generally speaking, yes, I'm much more sensitive to anything from visual, touch. I can feel people walking in an entire house from a corner of the house through my feet. Very attentive to most of my senses, and blessed to have them as well. But yeah, I would have to say that I am very sensitive. Calibrated might be another
Yeah.
word. I don't know.
No, sensitive. I just call it like I try to stay away from the taboo words, depending on who I'm talking to. Sometimes it's more fun to use the taboo words, just
It
like.
is. It is. That's why I was like, how vulnerable do I want to be right now?
No. But for the general like population or when I'm talking to just really I don't know, just when I'm out in the general world, I just like to say I'm a highly sensitive person. And that is it's sort of you're just experiencing everything more deeply. Like the noise is very loud to me. Like if I could, I would wear noise blocking headphones all the time. Um and I don't care if people think I'm really freaking weird. Who cares? No one cares.
I
Like
don't either.
I'm experiencing, I see it, things are vivid, like it's like I can hear everybody's thoughts when I'm in the um, in the parties or whatever it is. Like if I'm at a large event, I'm out for a week. So that's why like oh
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's a lot for me. Like I'm in taking so much. I mean to be fair, I'm also like a runt. I'm like a very tiny person. So that's also why I think in this divergent way is because I realized early on in life like damn, I'm last in the mile race. I'm constantly like
You
I
do
have to be
also
more
have to just
clever.
be hyper aware of everything, whether it's situationally, atmospherically.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to.
You have to. So I have to feel the big feelings and I have to move through these liminal spaces. And I know, like, I know people sometimes look at me and I'm like in the corner, just kind of like,
Well, that's how I
I don't
am
know.
generally. Like, even when I owned a club in Miami, when I tell you, I was not bumping around in there. I was sitting in the corner, sipping my drink, just watching everything, seeing what was going on, if anybody was fucking around. I was looking at the doors, the corners, I cannot enjoy chaotic situations. I am constantly analyzing every single thing and every single person that's happening. It is not an enjoyable experience for me whatsoever. Parties are not enjoyable whatsoever. It is what is happening, how can I get out of here if something happens, and it's just like a big analytical fuck for me.
Yeah, yeah. So you're sensitive. All right.
Very yes. Yeah, if that right there clears it up, then yes, I'm the exact same way.
Well, people who are sensitive put the hardest shell as a front just because it's true. It drains so much of us.
It
Like
does.
to even have conversations that are just
We have to
like
protect your peace. That's number one. Some people don't do that though, and that's when they go fucking insane. If you do not protect your peace, you will go insane.
it's so true. I already did, and now I'm crazy for sure, for real.
I think crazy is better than normal. Normal is boring, so that's where we're gonna put that.
And I also just want to say like thanks for having me on today. I know that I'm not your normal guest, I feel. Um so I was really excited to come into these spaces. I do also have a brother, so I mean it's not like
You said he was on
I don't
Flip
know.
too, right?
No, my brother, he
Or he just knew what you were
works.
doing on Flip.
He just knew that I was doing something. I mean, no one ever really knows what I'm doing, but he knew I was doing something. And I was like, yeah, I made like a grand on there, which I was proud of for the effort that I put in. And he was like, wow. He just is always surprised. Everyone's always surprised at how I make money, where I go to find money. Like,
The ends
why
of
is
the
it always
earth.
so strange? Um, and some people have met me and they don't know who I am, but they know of me. And that's some of my proudest work right there.
That right
Which,
there has always been lovely. I love that side effect.
where I just know, like, in those moments, I did what I could to make your life better, and I didn't need to take any credit for it because I was a character and you never got to meet the real me, but that's even more fun. Um,
Still, that's a very important. I think that is something that everybody should take away from. I try to articulate this to as many people as possible. Like my only job in this world, because people say like, "What the fuck is your purpose?" The world is already bad enough. It's horrible as it is. My only job ever since my very first video, I'm not even gonna go down that tail, is like if I could make the world a better place, I will. Whether it's I help people become better and they as a byproduct treat others better and put more good into the world, or I directly create more good and positivity. That is my only goal. Does not matter what it is. The world's already bad enough. We need to make it better.
It is. It is bad. I think the world isn't fun enough, so I am here to bring more fun into people's lives.
People
Because it
forget
doesn't
that
matter.
that.
It doesn't matter how much money you have, like, fun is a skill. And that is something that I have learned as a professional party hype person. I know that's actually a serious job that I've had. As I
Yeah,
go
people
in,
forget to like chill out for a sec, bro.
yeah, that's why I consume so much energy because I'm literally trying to help people just like relax, like let go. You know, it's okay to dance, it's okay to look like a fool because if you never look like a fool, then how do you,
Compare serious.
yeah, like how do you know what um well, I don't know. That's all just like a perception. I'm getting lost. I can tell that the ADHD is like starting to take over. It is. It's like I'm like I feel so energized by this conversation that I can feel it like vibrating my body like a chihuahua a little bit.
I mean, when you have just so much flowing, it really is a beautiful thing to be able to have like a conversation like that. Because most of the time it's just a null, streamlined conversation. I don't usually get to do things like this, which is why whether I don't know what my usual guest looks like maybe entrepreneurial, but that was only because I was interviewing my friend group for the earlier podcast. But I want people from all different backgrounds because you may say not normal, but like I said, normal is boring. I don't want boring. I want out of this world. I want different ideas and different ways of thinking, and I want different thought processes on my podcast from different backgrounds with different looks because this isn't just for entrepreneurs. This is for everybody who wants to be
Yes.
free, whether it's mentally, whether it's physically, because there is physical limitations that make you not free. Being overweight is one of them. People hate when I say that, but I don't care. You're not free if you're 400 pounds and you can't move and do what you want and go where you want. That's not
I
free.
know, and it greatly impacts it greatly impacts your family as well when you're overweight and not taking care of yourself. And that, my a lot of people in my family struggle with that, and it takes a big toll on all of us.
It does.
So
It
I
hurts
think,
to see, and eventually we're going to take care of
yeah,
you.
that is so true.
And that is a very hard conversation that most people fail to prepare for or have. Because at the same time, it is maybe a moral obligation, but not everybody has the same moral ethics and obligation to their family as other people do.
I have noticed it's very cultural. I am half Filipino, and Filipinos like to take care of their people. My mom is always saying like, "Huh, it's so interesting to hear like Americans say that they can't wait to kick their kids out, or that
Uh,
they can't wait to charge their kids like rent or whatever it is because it's cultural."
it is cultural, and that's where it really becomes interesting when different cultures marry in or different friend groups adopt different beliefs. Because people ultimately develop their own moral compass and their own set of ethics that they're going to follow for their life. Some people never do, and that's where it becomes dangerous. But generally speaking, yeah, it is very interesting to see just all the different backgrounds, and that's why I love having different types of guests, and that's why it was absolutely beautiful having you on today. This is a very different conversation. It wasn't just money. It was a lot more than that I'm sure a lot of other people can relate to and cannot have conversations about because their friends and their family don't do it, aren't comfortable talking about it, or just it doesn't happen. So having conversations like this and you speaking on your experiences is really an amazing thing that I feel like is going to help a lot of people.
I think so too. It's also a relief to let it out and let other people know that being a weirdo is going to get you far in life. That's where I'm going to go with that. Like, you're going to make interesting friends. You're going to have the best conversations. Like, your life will never be boring. It just opens up a world of opportunity and a world of doors that are yet to be unlocked. And as my brother tells me, he's like, when you have so many passions and so many different roads you can take, the hard part is just sticking to who you are. In those different roads. So I guess my last question, because I feel like we could talk for a really long time. You honestly remind me of my brother-in-law and my brother.
Very interesting. I hope to meet them one day. Then that's actually pretty funny.
You would like them. They are both computer nerds. My brother's heading
Uh,
out.
we got to
They're
do
heading
like a
out to.
little three. We got to do something. I mean, this won't be the last time we talk, I'm sure. I would love to have a
No,
repeat, and obviously we'll stay in contact.
I
And it
would
would be cool
love
to
to
talk to them too.
improve. I would love to improve like the podcast. I was so prepped with like questions and stuff, and I love how it didn't go anywhere in the direction
We
I
can
thought
use
it
them
was
for the
gonna
next
go.
one. I'm more than happy to do it again. I promise you.
I was like looking up before we started. I was like YouTubing, like, all right, how do we make a great podcast? And I watched like so many videos to get prepped for today.
Honestly,
Um,
like you said, this is just the beginning, and these are gonna get better and better. I've never been great with structure. Like I hate scripts, but when you just
same,
get
same.
to it, it's so much better. People feel it's just better. But you said you had one
It
last
is.
question?
Yeah. What are your core like? Wait, I'm gonna share mine because I had them in front of me, so I wouldn't get lost here.
Perfect.
I made myself little keychains. All right. Vision.
The green I'm
Gotta have a
loving.
vision. These are my core. This is like my core energy. This is what I run on. Magic, obviously. Um, gotta put my branding in there. Gotta get some truth in there. Now, I must admit, it sometimes truth can be so difficult.
It can be difficult, it can be hard, but it's absolutely necessary.
It is, and I'm not always the best with truth. I do tend to live in some form of delusion at almost all times. We got love, and then my last core,
That is actually really cute.
freedom. Yes, that is
Yes.
freedom. I gotta have freedom. I just don't know who I am without freedom.
Without freedom, we're caged animals, which sadly is a lot of the earth, including animals.
That is, I don't know. It's okay. Don't get me started on animals because that could
we
be a
we could talk
whole
about
other three
that
hours.
because I
There
have
are so
very
many
strong
people that,
opinions.
oh my gosh, I could have written a whole. I could be a journalist. I
You
could
should.
I could ruin I could ruin so many lives, but for the better for a better world.
For a better world of less chaos than there already is, I guess.
Boom, unity. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Are those my core values? I think that is. Oh well, I always have to add this in just because it's fun. These I've had these two aliens since I was a child, but one alien holds the Earth, and then one alien has a rocket. So this is kind of like um, this represents like good and evil to me, but that they're kind of like two sides of the same coin.
Yes, they're both a little bit necessary. Because without evil, how the hell are we supposed to know what's good? There's no comparison to it, which is a weird way of looking at it, but that's how I look at it.
And then for the last and final piece, here's the middle, right? Here's the delusion. It's a unicorn. You have to.
I think the delusion is absolutely necessary in our pursuit. Like it is.
It has to be because if you're not, how am I supposed to do any of this if I'm not totally freaking delusional? One lady on YouTube commented and she said I had crazy eyes, and I was like, yeah, of course, like, of course I have crazy
I've heard
eyes.
like I've heard some interesting things about my eyes, but crazy, that's interesting.
Look, and I'm like, yeah, because I'm crazy enough to follow my dreams. I'm crazy enough to lead my own path. I'm crazy enough to believe in myself. Like, I'm crazy enough to not listen to you.
They
So,
call it
like,
crazy until it works, and then they're like, "What did you do? How did you?" I believed it before it happened. You have to believe before, way before it happens.
but I have also been called crazy by other crazy people. Like, once, I probably shouldn't even be telling this story, but it's going to happen. It's coming out of my mouth. I worked at an underground, probably illegal. I found it on Craigslist. And Um, it was I don't know because the police were in on it to give you some context. But
Nobody will ever know.
I was working at this moving underground like lap dance strip club as a door girl. So
They
a
have
lot of
door girls.
oh yes they do. Well, what ended up happening is when I answered the ad, I didn't realize that they were looking for girls to dance. I just was very naive and I had no clue. So when I first went, they were like, oh, this is what you do. And I was like, oh, that, you know what? This isn't for me. I don't think I can do
You're
this.
like, yeah, no, no.
And then they called back and they were like, do you want to be the door girl? And I was like, well, what do I have to do? They were like, just put some wristbands on people. So I
Lol.
was like, you know what? That's so different. Why not?
A million times,
And
yes.
I ended up making more money than like a lot of the girls who danced. Um, but at the same time, I was secretly going around and being like, you don't have to do this. Go work. Go. Go work for this company called da 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 da, da, and you'll make way more money than what you're making here. So I was like kind of sabotaging the thing. And then the boss would come in and he had this greasy white smile and his greased back hair. And he would always be like, Millie, you need to like hand out more flyers. Like the men aren't getting enough flyers. They don't know when the next pop-up event is gonna be. And
So
I
you
was
need
like,
more money.
what? I was like, you need more. He was like, you're just not being like bold enough. So then I like had the flyers and I was like, you want me to hand it out like this? You want me to hand it out like that, huh?
He didn't
Huh?
know
And
how to
then
do
he was
that.
like, he was like, you know what? She's crazy, so I'm gonna leave her alone. So in order to
Good,
like
good, 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 good.
be crazy, like you have to, in order to like keep away crazy people, you have to know how to get crazy on their level. So it's like a defense mechanism. And
It definitely
all
is. They
right,
don't know how to handle it.
I'm gonna be quiet before I reveal way too much about myself.
I can go into Miami in the next podcast because that was owning a club and being in a club are very
Oh my
interesting
God.
experiences.
Club life is the craziest shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
It
With
is.
the richest, craziest people, the poorest, craziest people, regular crazy people, crazy, crazy. I don't know, so many types
People
of crazy.
escaping this world is what the club is. That's what I've always
It
looked at it as.
is where they go to get beat
Well, when you
inside
walk
their
in there,
brains.
you lose like 2 to 12 hours of the day in pure like bliss and obliviousness.
It's, I've always been like someone who works at the club, not necessarily like in the club life. So to have that perspective.
I'm more than happy. Next podcast, we're bring the questions and we'll have a good time. We'll have a good time.
Crazy club stories and the lessons we learned.
Oh,
I
100%.
mean, all the awareness that we learned and
Hopefully,
gained
we can
from all
scare
this
some
nonsense.
teenagers out of a horrible lifestyle. Who knows?
Totally. Oh my gosh, I have so many stories that can scare all of the teens. You guys will never go clubbing a day in your life. I'm just
Not
kidding.
even like
Oh,
just
I'm
bad.
just
It's
kidding.
just it'll open your eyes to like I don't want to go down that road. Like why are my
But there's
friends doing
nothing
it?
there.
No,
There's nothing
it's an
there
endless
for
pit.
you.
It is an endless oblivious pit. 100%.
Okay, wait, we have to stop before we keep
Yes,
going.
yes. But
We do. I'm so excited that I'm just so grateful to have had this conversation. Thank you for opening up to me and sharing. I hope we have many, many more podcasts. Hopefully, this wasn't too insane and not too hard to edit.
oh, this is going to be
Um,
perfect. These are generally more raw than not. We'll see what I can do about my face. I don't know. But yeah, it was like likewise. It was 100% a pleasure to have you on today. And thank you for opening up as well. I'm looking forward to the next one, quite honestly. This one
Wait,
was great.
one goal we're gonna do before the next time that you're gonna write down one dream. You're gonna write down one dream.
I will have down one dream for you, and then we can decipher it with ChatGPT. How about that? Or
Okay.
you can tell me. You're the dream walker here, which I don't know if that's an actual term,
I
but
can. I have actually been paid to analyze dreams professionally, so I actually can
so
help
I'm
you.
going to bring you my dream, and we're going to take a look at it. So
Okay, what am I gonna do?
for your goal, because very earlier in the podcast, you very specifically said, I mean, we talked about finances specifically, but you said you were going to hit
My
100K
three.
this year.
I am. Well, not maybe not. It might be too late this year because.
You never know. It's
But
Q4. More money moves than now than ever.
it's so true. It could. It
Just keep
really could
pushing for
happen.
it. You could have one week where it's like, holy shit, where'd that 30K come from?
It is so true. I'm delusional enough to believe in that shit. All right. It definitely. I mean, heck, if my great grandpa can do it, I can do it.
Exactly, exactly. But for you, what is one thing that you want? Because I don't know, we could do it the
All
18th.
right.
We could do it next month. It's completely up to you.
Actually, you know what? I really it just became winter. This is some of the harshest weather I've ever lived in, and the thing I struggle with most in winter is like keeping up with being fit because it just yeah. I think I need more of
Fitness
a
is my thing.
Yeah, I think because I'm in right now with financial literacy, I am doing a lot of reading. I'm reading all the magazines, just trying to get in with the language more. But I think staying fit is more important actually in this winter season. So,
What is
all
your
right.
goal? Because you're getting started earlier than January 1st. January 1st sucks. We're getting started
Oh,
earlier. So
I
what's
don't
your goal?
believe in January 1st goals.
Thank God.
Um,
Thank God.
um, I think that I just with fitness, I want to be way more consistent. Like I know when I'm fit, things come to me more easily. So if I could just be more consistent with like, I think it's because I'm trying to go too hard and then I'm too, I need to do the 1% better method.
Well, let's
You know
just
what
do
I'm
a
saying?
streak. Until our next podcast, you have a streak. And the streak could be whether you're stretching, whether you're doing the workout, whether you're getting a certain amount of steps in. You have some sort of goal that is going to help you accumulate the body and the mental capacity that you want with your physical fitness.
All right, I got it. 10,000 steps and I'm going to stretch every freaking day.
Listen, Flip isn't going to pay you if you do it, but
Hmm?
okay.
No, Flip is not going to pay me to do it, but well, I mean, the deeper reason why fitness is important to me is because I love to sing, and fitness is singing. The better, the more fit you are, the better you can sing. And
Those
so
vocal cords got to be warm and healthy, to say the
they
least.
do. And any singer who thinks that fitness is not a part of the journey is wrong. So,
One day, after I'm finished learning how to play piano, we'll talk about singing because this could be
heck
interesting.
yes.
But
All right, so 10,000 steps, I stretch every day. I'm going to tell you my streak next time, and you're going to tell me one of your dreams.
perfect. I'll see
And
if I can get more than one. I'll see if I can get more than one.
yeah, I would love to hear.
But until the next time,
Until
where
next
can
time.
everybody find you?
Millie Magic everywhere, even on platforms you don't even know about. I'm gonna be there. That's gonna be my legacy. You're
Branding
gonna
will be perfect.
My internet legacy is I'm everywhere in places you've never expected to find me.
That is going to be perfect. You guys heard it. Remember, until next time, get 1% better every single day. If you guys want to check out her content. It's dope. We specifically touch base on TikTok quite often. Check her out at Millie Magic. It'll be in the description below. But until next time, remember to get 1% better, and we'll see you guys later.